continuing with lesson 43 homework help. So we decided to do number 7 and number 11 for you. So this is number 7 in your book. And this is part of your 6 homework problems. So you guys are getting some freebies. Alright, so look at this function. This function is starting here. It's going up at negative 270, down at negative 90. Look at its high and its low points. Okay? It has a low point at 0, a high point at 180, a low point again at 360 down here, a high point at 180, and a low point again at negative 360. So we kind of go, what kind of function is going to do that? And none of our functions does that, right? Because we have a high on the cosine at 0, but this one has a low at 0. And we think about what our cosine function looks like. Our cosine function has a high at 0, a low halfway through at 180, and a high at 360. So again, this one looks like it's a what kind of function? A flipped cosine function, or a negative cosine function. Okay, so we're going to start with negative cosine. Since this is in degrees, we're going to have a theta out here, right? And since it's going up to 4 and down to negative 4, we're going to have a what there? 4. A negative 4. So y is negative 4 cosine theta. And that's all there is to it. Okay? Now when we go over here to this one, we have to do a little bit of work. Okay, now this was in the lesson 41, I believe, was the reciprocal functions. So we already talked about the secant is the reciprocal of the
sine.
No, remember we talked about the S going to the C, that's right, the C and the S switch. So it's 1 over the cosine and of negative 7 pi over 6. Now, where is negative 7 pi over 6? Okay, it's going left, it's past a pi, isn't it? It's going down, and it's going to be a pi over 6 in this one. What's a pi over 6?
Why is it going down?
Because it's got a negative there.
Yes.
It's going down.
Yes.
Okay, so this one is a 30 degree in the second quadrant. The reference angle is a 30 degree, pi over 6, but it's going to be in that second quadrant. So when I think of the cosine of a 30, the cosine of a 30 is the long one, isn't it? So this is going to become 1 over the square root of 3 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, but it is in the what? It's a cosine and it is left, therefore it's going to be a negative. So when I simplify that, that's going to, division by a fraction is multiplication by the reciprocal. It's going to be a negative 2 over the square root of 3 times what? Square root of 3 over square root of 3, and we're going to get negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. And that's what we get for the first little part there. So let's write it right here. Negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so now we've got a cosecant. A cosecant is a 1 over a sine. So we're going to have 1 over the sine of pi over 3. Okay, and the pi over 3 is the 60. If we do it in the unit circle, it's going to be right there, isn't it? Okay, so it's a 60 degree reference angle. And the sine of a 60 degree is the tall one, right? So it's going to be square root of 3 over 2. It's going to be 1 over the square root of 3 over 2. So that when I flip it, it's going to be 2 over the square root of 3, or what?
2 square root of 3 over 3.
2 square root of 3 over 3. And it's going to be plus 2 square root of 3 over 3. Well, those two are going to cancel each other out, aren't they? So then this one, I don't usually worry about this one going to cotangents because I've already taught you the tangent is what? Sine over the cosine, right? Cotangent is just cosine over the sine. So the tangent is going to be the sine of 8 pi over 3 over the cosine of 8 pi over 3. But 8 pi over 3 is more than 2 pi, isn't it? 6 pi over 3 would be 2 pi. And so I can take this 6 pi over 3 away and make it a what?
2 pi over 3.
Yeah, that's a 2 pi over 3. Because I can throw out one whole trip around the circle. So where is 2 pi over 3? It's not quite a pi. So isn't it the 60 over here, right? It's the 60 over here in that quadrant. So now the sine of a 60 is the long one, right? So we're going to have the square root of 3 over 2, and the second quadrant is positive for the sine. And then on the bottom we're going to have the what? Cosine of the same angle, which is going to be the short one. It's going to be 1/2. But the cosine over there is negative. Okay, so when I finish that and I multiply by 2 over 2, I get negative the square root of 3. Since these two cancel each other out, the answer is going to be negative the square root of 3. And we are done with that lesson. Thank you very much.